Hey everyone, Ricky Martin here, founder of Hyper Recruitment Solutions. I've done lots of videos before and lots of speaking on interviewing, but it's not often I speak about using one of these, a telephone, a mobile, to actually conduct and to master a telephone interview. And it's becoming more and more common that the first stage of many processes are either telephone or video interviewing, which is another topic for another day. So I wanted to speak to you about how to prepare for a telephone interview, how to master an interview, because all of those things will help you to be invited to a face-to-face interview, to get that perfect job and to get yourself hired. So, a telephone interview, where do we start? First thing to remember is there's one word in that sentence, telephone interview. That's the most important word, interview. Time and time again, people forget that it is a part of that recruitment, that selection process. And it is as important to master and give a good impression on the telephone as it is in person. So let's think about how do we prepare. There's three things we should have with us on that telephone interview. A CV, the job description, and a list of questions. Either have them printed out in front of you or on some electronic or tablet device. The best thing about a telephone interview is the person on the other end of the phone cannot see you. You have the ability to put whatever you want in front of you. I'm not saying wear a shirt, a tie, a jacket, or whatever you wear to go to work because it's going to make you feel like you're interviewing. But what I am saying is have the tools you need to help you. The CV got you that interview, so have it around in front of you. The job description is what you're interested in, so have that in front of you. And the list of questions shows that actually it's not just it's a job because it's a job. I'm interested in that job. I want to find out more. I want to take that role. I want to work with that company and those people. What do I need to know? Have those three things armed in front of you. The reason the CV is key, it's so you know your stuff. The amount of times I interview someone and then I say to them, look, in 2008 you started a recruitment consultant role. Can you tell me a little bit more about that job? Remind me again when you left that job. What year and what month was that? And I have somebody saying, oh, I was recruiting for the life sciences, Ricky. I left at some point in 2011, 2012. If you do not know your details, if you do not know the stats, that's written on the CV, that's got you this interview, you're going to minimise your chance of getting that job. Have it in front of you, know your detail. They can't see you looking down at that CV. Just make sure you're not rustling and looking all the way down. The job description. You want this job, why not have that detail in front of you? Why not reference the information on the job description to show the interviewer you're interested and you've read what they're looking to hire? And the list of questions. Best thing about that is not only does it help you prepare, but you can tick through each one of them when they've been answered for you. And if everything's ticked through before you get to the end and they ask you have any questions, think on your feet. The worst thing someone can do is not ask questions. I'm sorry, Ricky, you've answered all my questions. That just shows me you're not interested. Write down questions throughout this call when you listen to the interviewer speak. So, the interview itself, what are three other basics we can have? Make sure that our phones, we're doing it on our mobile, on our telephone, our cell phone, whatever word you use. We need to make sure it's got enough battery to get to the end of that interview. We need to make sure that you have reception and you can hear the person and they can hear you. And you need to make sure in an environment with no distractions. If you have those three things ready, and it might sound silly, it's really going to help. I have spoken to a number of clients who say, Ricky, I've just got off the phone to Joe. Joe is a fantastic candidate, but 5 minutes before the end, the phone went dead. Joe then called me back 15 minutes later. It took that long to get some juice back into the phone to boot it back up again and ring me. And by that time I had another meeting. So it cut quite short. I think they're all right, but I'm not sure what to do next. If you haven't got any reception, they are the fundamental basics, but time and time again, people don't have battery, aren't in an area of great reception, and more importantly, they're in an environment with distractions. Are we at home doing this telephone chat? People are coming into partners, kids, pets running in, distracting me, pulling me off that phone so that I can't hear and they can't hear me. Or I'm sat in my car on my lunch break trying to have a telephone chat, but there's planes flying over, it's bad weather, the person can't hear me. Think about those things. You want to give a right impression? Make sure they can hear you. Make sure you're not distracted. Make sure you give yourself every chance to do. And on that call, three things you can do is make sure you have a steady speed in how you speak. Make sure you're concise and articulate. And most importantly, make sure you make an impression. People don't hire boring people. They hire people with personalities to work in a people industry to do a people job. That's why companies have roles now called people manager, head of people, not just HR, because that's what we hire. Let's get your personality across. If your speed is too quick, and I am guilty of this, listen to me, I'm speaking at the speed of light because I'm enthusiastic. That's okay on a video or in person, but on a telephone, if I'm rapidly speaking, they can't hear me or I'm rambling on, it's going to go against me. Make sure that I am concise with my answers. The amount of times I've had actually, and I've seen people do this, they're having an interview and somebody is waffling, the phone goes down, it goes on the speaker, they open up their notepad, they start getting distracted. That person's lost the room, they've lost that telephone chat. Make sure you are concise and make an impression. We don't hire boring people, we hire great people to do great jobs for great companies. So in summary, let's make sure we do all of these things. Let's have our preparation sorted, have our CV, our job description, and our list of questions available to us. Make sure the environmental factors are sorted, where that we have battery, we've got good reception, we've got no distractions around us. And let's practice, or at least be conscious of the way that we come across in terms of what's the speed, is it steady speed? Are we concise and articulate? And are we making a great impression? If you can bring all of those 9 things together, you are going to maximise your chance of succeeding on that telephone interview. Because trust me, the telephone interview is the first stage of other interviews to come. And if you've done all of that preparation to get to the next stage, you're going to help yourself down the line and ultimately help yourself to get hired more effectively, more successfully into the jobs that you want. Good luck.